if I fall and die, it is what it is, I guess. It's Holly and I'm here with my August book haul. So I was going to start doing just like 2 months at a time book hauls instead of seasonally, and then I bought a lot of books in August and I think I'm gonna buy a lot of books in September, so I decided to just do a monthly book haul. Whatever, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. So this is like, I guess, sort of in order of which I purchased them, but kind of all over the place, I guess. So Murphy, no. So I picked up Brazen and the Beast by Sarah McLean. This is the second book in her Bare Knuckle Bastards series. That's what it's called, right? Yes. And this came out at the end of July and I've already read it. It was so good. It was 5 stars. I loved it. I know a lot of people have issues with it. I am not one of those people. So I love Sarah McLean. This is historical romance. It's a little on the darker side, but it's basically the same as Wicked and the Wallflower. And this one has a plus size heroine. It sounds like there's like a kid. Oh, I thought the kid was crying. I think the kid's laughing. So, yeah, you hear that? It's like a little toddler. I don't know who it is. I don't think there's any toddlers in the building anymore. They're probably visiting. Actually, another new release I got was The Last Hope by Krista and Becca Ritchie. I was fortunate enough to get offered an e-arc of this by Wednesday Books, and I read it in like June, I think, maybe July. I don't remember. Murphy, stop. And I had pre-ordered this back in April. This is the second / final book in the Raging Ones duology. It is sci-fi and I loved it. This is one of my favorite books of the year. I'm so happy to have a physical copy of it on my shelf, and I highly recommend this duology. Let's just do another new release. This is The Wallflower Wager, and this is by Tessa Dare. This is the most recent book in her Girl Meets Duke series. I think this is book 3. Ugh, I moved my books back so I can't see them anymore, but I think this is book 3 in that series, and I have not read this yet. It just came out in August, right? Yes, in like the middle of August. But it is definitely on my like read urgently list. So I'm very excited. I love Tessa Dare. She writes great historical romance and I've loved this series so far. So then in a really random book, I picked up this book. It's called Catching Lightning in a Bottle. It is a history of Merrill Lynch basically, and I got this for work, and I actually ended up listening to this on Audible, but I picked this up from Thrift Books. So before, I thought it was only like 300 pages, and then somebody was like, no, it's like 600, and I was like, I'm not reading a 600 page book for work when I have so many other books I want to read. So instead I went with the Audible route. It is very good. I don't think it's for everybody, but I think if you are interested in finance or just like the history of companies in general, I think it has a lot of interesting facts and stories, and I'm actually kind of glad I got the physical book because there are pictures in here, which was really interesting. The guy who wrote this, he goes through basically from the founding of Merrill Lynch all the way through about 2007, 2008. So it does cover 9/11, which I was old enough to remember 9/11. I was in 7th grade. I was 12 years old. So that part was actually really hard to read. It's still really hard for me to watch or read or consume anything around 9/11. It's just like takes me to like a really sad place. The way he talked about it was very like heartwarming and everything, but it was still a little hard to read. But because I was picking this up from Thrift Books, I was like, well, if I'm gonna make a Thrift Books order, I might as well order $10 worth of books so that I can get free shipping. I'm only a little ashamed. Also, I'm now in the Thrift Books, they have like a rewards program, and it's for like here, let me pull up the app on my phone. The way it works is it's called Reading Rewards. So you get, there's like 2 tiers. So there's Reader, which is you get 8 points for every dollar you spend. And then if you spend more than $100 within a 12-month time period, you become a Literati, which means you get 10 points for every dollar you spend. And for every 500 points you earn, then you get a free book. So I think I would just have to spend $50 in order to get a free book. So, and I am now a Literati. I also have a free book waiting for me, and I've already gotten a free book this year. So yeah, I was like, well, I might as well make it worth do the free shipping, because their free shipping is just $10 in the US. And I was like, I was at work doing the order, and I was like, I can't remember. I've been meaning to flesh out my Night Huntress books by Janine Frost, and I couldn't remember which ones I owned, and my list was at home, and I really didn't want to wait because there was only like 1 copy of Catching Lightning in a Bottle, because you know it's such a hot book that somebody was gonna buy it. But anyways, I didn't want to wait, so I was like, oh, there is something else I really want. So I picked up the Paradox trilogy. So it is Fortune's Pawn, Honor's Night, which this is, one of these is a library edition. I think, yeah, it's this one. And then Heaven's Queen, and these are sci-fi, and Rachel Bach is also Rachel Aaron, who I have read some of her Heartstrikers books, which I really want to finish those, but I want to buy physical copies of them just because I prefer reading physical copies. So I had actually read these a couple of years ago from the library, and then I stopped reading them. I do that a lot with series because I like live in fear that they'll disappoint me, but it's been long enough that I feel like I'm gonna have to reread these, and I enjoyed them enough, and I enjoy Rachel Aaron / Rachel Bach's writing enough that I wanted to like own these. So I will reread these at some point and then read Heaven's Queen hopefully this year, but no promises. And then I picked up The Darkest Star by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I am like totally back on the Armentrout train. I don't even know what happened, like, because I finished the Titan series a little while ago, and I do want to reread the Covenant series, but I was like ambivalent about reading this. Like, I was like, I want to read it eventually, but I don't know, I just got like the itch to read it, and I really want to read Storm, I don't know if it's Storm Fury or Storm and Fury, but it's like a spin-off to her Dark Elements series, which White Hot Kiss was not my favorite, so I had stopped, but then I feel like I need to read it to read that other series, so it was like all over the place. So I think I'm going to do that next month. I will probably buy all of those books and read them. And the second book in this series, which this is a spin-off to the Lux series, which I know a lot of people like don't like because they think it's like over the top and trashy, and it gets like lumped in with Twilight a lot, and I totally see why. But I love it. I've read it multiple times and I really enjoy it. Like, even years apart from reading it, I still really enjoy it. So I picked this up. Like I said, it is like a spin-off. This follows Luke, who you meet in the Lux series, and it is narrated by a young woman named Evie. This is definitely, I've already read this, it is definitely a Jennifer L. Armentrout book. Like, if you like her writing, I think you'll like this. If you don't like her writing, I don't think you'll like this. Only a few more to go. Oh, my nail is like breaking. It's like so brittle and it's like popping. Like when so then I did something super impulsive. So most of these, obviously not the Rachel Aaron and Rachel Bach books, but a lot of these were planned purchases. And then, Murphy, you're gonna hurt yourself. Murphy. Murphy. Hey, stop it. Are you stuck? See, I told you you were gonna hurt you. Okay. And then Lala, who I love, announced, which I knew she was doing this, and I was like in the air of whether or not I was going to participate, because I have wanted to read the Raven Boys series for a really long time, and I've been thinking about buying them this year. And my plan was to just buy the Raven Boys. So what I've been trying to do with my series is buy the first book, read the first book. If I like it, then buy like the rest of them, because I do like to read my series closer together. I don't know. And then she announced her like read-a-thon kind of thing. So every week in the month of September, she and 3 other booktubers are going to be reading and hosting a read-a-thon for the 4 Raven Boys books. So they're each going to be hosting in the week that is like their favorite book. So I think she is hosting week 2, which is the Dream Thieves. And if you couldn't tell, I totally bought all of them. So I also bought Blue Lily, Lily Blue, and the Raven King. And I'm honestly just hoping that I really enjoy this series. It's really popular. I read Shiver and I was not the biggest fan of it, by Maggie Stiefvater, but I feel like a lot of people didn't really like Shiver and they still really enjoy these. So I don't know. So I just caved and I bought all of them. And it wasn't that bad. They were like $8 each off of Amazon. There was actually a box set, which I almost bought, but then I like quickly did the math in my head and was like, it's more expensive to buy the box set. And I did buy them in paperback. I would have preferred hardcover, but the price was just a little too much like of a difference for me to justify when the paperbacks would be perfectly good. And I actually prefer to read a paperback. I just prefer a hardcover on my shelf. It's weird. And then the last book that I got in August was actually my Owl Crate box, or my Owl Crate book. And I really liked Owl Crate. This is my first like official month doing Owl Crate, and I really enjoyed it. I did film like an unboxing, but it's super random and long and rambly because I'm just like sitting on my floor with no concern. If you want to see it, I will post it. But Owl Crate unboxings I feel like are really weird because they're all the same, so it's not like you need to see them, you know. But anyways, so the book in August was House of Salt and Sorrow by Aaron A. Craig? Unsure. And this is a 12 Dancing Princesses retelling, and this was actually already on my TBR, like on Goodreads, like a book I wanted to read when I had first heard about it, because I liked the 12 Dancing Princesses story when I was younger, and I believe it should be in one. I have a bunch of fairy tale bind-ups. It should be in there, so I plan on reading that before I read this because it's just a fairy tale. It should be really short. I do know that this is supposed to be a little like spooky and eerie, so I'm a little nervous because I am a big fat baby, but it's fine. It'll work out. So I am really excited, and maybe I'll wait and I'll read this in October, and I'll try to be a little spooky, even though I'm not a spooky person. But you know, it's okay, whatever. So those are all the books that I bought in the month of August, and honestly it is a lot of books, but I had already read, or I have read in the month of August a lot of them, so I'm okay with it. So that is it for my August book haul, and I will be back next month with another book haul in September. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.